What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another stream. I believe that we are very, very close to a major breakout in this market. The market's testing our patience right now. It's playing games with us, but I think we're ready. Honestly, anytime now, we are going to see a major move up in the crypto market and potentially the final move up. And that final move up is the most impulsive move up of the entire cycle. It's the most bullish move up of the entire cycle. And it's the one where you make most of the gains. And I truly believe that many people who are following this channel are going to become millionaires and make millions in the next month based off some of these calls. Not everyone, obviously. Everyone starts from different points. If you've only got $1,000, it's unlikely you're going to become a millionaire. But a lot of people watching this channel are going to be very, very rich in a short period of time, in my opinion, with some of the gains we're going to make. So we're going to discuss some of the key charts. We had the weekly close yesterday. So we're going to discuss what happened on the weekly close. As always, every weekly close, we have a Discord call over in the VIP group. So I recommend that you guys get onto that so you don't miss the next weekly close. It's a very insightful group call, and I love doing them. But we had the close. We're going to discuss the ramifications of that. And we're going to take a look at some of the most important charts. Now, the weekly close was actually pretty bullish. Now, we're coming back down today, mostly red across the board, having a bit of a cool off. But the weekly close was indeed bullish. We closed above resistance. We had a breakout, and we closed the week above that level. Okay, this is the 4-hour on Bitcoin. You can see we've been trading in this range, this kind of compression, this pennant, or whatever you want to call it. We were kind of trading in this range, and then we've broken out of it, and now we're coming back down to test the the support of this formation. Now, on the week, if we look at it on the week, you can see it's a pretty bullish weekly close. Okay, now this week so far has been red, but this was the most bullish weekly close we've had on Bitcoin in its history. So it's a bullish weekly close nonetheless. And it was above the trend line. There were some scares that maybe we would close the week below the trend line, right? There was some scares that maybe we would close at 114K or 115K because we did wick down pretty low last week. So we did well to close where we did on Bitcoin. And total 3 as well, to me, it's just in the beginning stages of its impulsive breakout. We're having a little bit of a cool off right now, but we're going to have some continuations very shortly with this rally. And I believe we will surpass all-time highs on total 3 anytime now. And Ethereum is another one. Ethereum's just on that doorstep now to $4,000, that critical resistance that every single time we've hit, we've essentially rejected in the past couple of years. It's absolutely crucial that Ethereum pushes past that resistance on this next move up, because you can see like every single time we've hit this level, 4K, between kind of 3.8 to 4K, every time we've hit it, we've rejected. We can't afford another rejection because time isn't on our side this bull run. Altcoins are making late moves. Ideally, Ethereum should be around $6,000, $7,000 right now if it was being cyclically coherent, but it's not. It's kind of detached from the usual, money flow system. It's been very much a Bitcoin dominated cycle so far. However, I believe the torch will be passed on to Ethereum once we break above 4K. That is why you're going to see a quick move. I mean, we've already seen a relatively quick move over the course of the past few weeks, but we'll see it move even quicker once we get above this critical resistance level. And I think that's where all the money is going to be made in altcoins. It's going to be a short window of time, short window of opportunity. But just because it's a short period of time doesn't mean you don't make much money. People need to realize you can make millions in crypto in just a couple of weeks. If you see all the kind of recipes come together, right? You just need all these different ingredients to come together and create that perfect recipe. Think of it like that. You need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. Put them all together. You've got this amazing recipe for mega money to be made. And we almost have it. I mean, we've got Ethereum looking like it's on the doorstep of $4,000. Once we get above 4K, that's one of the ingredients for a mega run with the altcoins. We have Total 3 approaching new all-time highs. Once it breaks out, it will officially be in price discovery mode. And from that point onwards, it's hard to predict where it will go. It will be insane. That's another ingredient to add to the list. We have Bitcoin already in price discovery. And we have dominance starting to drop. When you look at it in the last couple of weeks, dominance has been doing very well. Now it is on support right now. It's in that golden pocket region. We need to drop below that. Dominance needs to drop below 60%, and then the next level I'll be targeting will be 56%, in line with the fibs. Right now, it's using that golden pocket as support. We all need to hope that it doesn't hold this support for long, and it eventually, falls over and breaks down. That's the ideal scenario here. If that happens, that's another ingredient to add to the list, and we genuinely have an altcoin season occurring in August and potentially September. Now, I've been saying for a long time, I believe the top will be in Q3 of 2025. And I stand by my thesis. I stand by it. I believe we will top out. This is what I said half a year ago. You can go back on old videos and you can check. I said, I believe we will top out in July, August, or September. One of those months, which is Q3, quarter 3. Now, I don't think we're going to top out in July, but August and September seem highly probable to me, based off my economic research I've done, the way the economy is potentially going to look in the back end of the year, the fact that maybe not even going to cut rates in September now. There's going to be a big fall down. There's going to be a big hard landing eventually, right? Because they've left it so long. They've left the rates high so long. Once this economy starts to give, it is going to be brutal. So you've got that factor. You've got everyone blindly believing in the 4-year cycle like it's some gospel. The 4-year cycle has to play out. We have to top out in October or November, people are saying. Now, I wasn't one of these guys that thought the top was in January. I didn't think that was the top. Okay, I didn't think the top was in 2024 in March when we went up to 74K. I never called for the tops at any point this cycle. And I still don't think the top is in. I think we've got higher to go on Bitcoin. I think we're going to 130K, there or thereabouts. Might be a bit higher, might be a bit lower, but I think that's the rough target that I'm looking at. And 127K is a very key level, which we were discussing in depth, actually, in the last VIP voice chat discussion. We were discussing 127 in depth. There's multiple things pointing towards that level. So it kind of concerns me, the fact that so many people are blindly believing that we're going to top out in November, December. It does concern me, because when all of the masses believe something, it very rarely plays out. And that's not me being some contrarian conspiracy theorist. That is just a general fact of markets. When all of retail believes something, they're usually being led astray. And I believe that a lot of these YouTubers are saying to their followers, we're going to top out at the very end of the year, maybe even 2026, right? Super cycle for a few years. We might even top out 2027, maybe 2028. I've heard a few guys say. I believe all those YouTubers are purposely leading their followers astray so that they have the perfect exit liquidity in front of them, so that they can sell whilst all of their followers believe we're going to keep going up only. Because that is the exact same thing that these guys did last bull run. And I was there to witness it. I was getting called an absolute idiot by some of the people in crypto. I was in a couple groups that were free last bull run. Bear in mind, last bull run, I was a young teenager. And people were calling me an idiot. People were, making fun of me, laughing at me, and all of this when I was selling a lot of my altcoins in April 2021 when Bitcoin was around 55, 58, 59K. I was selling a lot of my altcoins then, my memes and things like that, in great profits, by the way. And people were calling me an idiot, saying we're going to 200K, we're going to 100K easily. Bitcoin went up to 64. It then absolutely crashed down to 29 and everyone panicked like you've never seen before. So I've seen this before. A lot of people calling for these super cycles who believe this stuff, it's their first bull run. They've made no money from crypto. It's just a coping mechanism. You know, it's just a way to cope. So that's something to just be aware of, right? Quite often, if people haven't had a bull run as good as they perhaps expected, they will turn to coping mechanisms to make themselves feel better about themselves. And one of those coping mechanisms is to argue that we'll have a super cycle, an indefinite bull run that's going to go on forever. That's one of the key coping mechanisms that I see people utter. And I saw all of that last bull run. And when you start to hear that kind of rhetoric, you know that we are getting close to the end. It's the beginning of the end. Now, I'll say it again. That last period in the bull run, that last 5% period is where most of the gains are made. So I'm not saying go away and quit because we're getting closer to the end. In fact, it's the most exciting time when you get closer to the end because Bitcoin has a bull run for 95% of the cycle. Bitcoin's the one to be in. It's that last 5%, that last 10% of the bull run where alt season happens, where you want to be in the altcoins. And that's the percentage that we're getting into now, in my opinion. That last percentile, that last period where all of the money's made. But just be very careful because I'm not one of these YouTubers who's going to lie to you and tell you we're going to have a super cycle going on for years, well into 2026, well into 2027. I'm not one of these YouTubers that's going to do that. Okay, so be very careful who you're listening to. There's a ton of bad actors out there. There's a ton. They got bad intentions. They don't care about you, and they want you to basically believe this bull run's going to go on forever. Anyway, top plays remain the same. I'm liking the look of Sui right now. It's been doing very well for us. We take a look at Sui. You can see it broke out above that May resistance. Had a very good day yesterday. Now we're coming back down a little bit here. But Sui looks ready to me. I wouldn't ignore this little bit of a red candle. I think this is potentially a bear trap. They're trying to play games with us. They're trying to trick us. And I called a bear trap previously, and I was right. I said that the dip on Bitcoin a few days ago, I called that a bear trap, and I was right. Let me just show you what I'm talking about for those who don't know. So obviously we had a bit of a dump here down to 114K, and people started panicking. People were like, is this over? Is it the end of the bull run? Blah, blah, blah. I said, it's a bear trap. Don't fall for it. It's just a trick. They're trying to get you to sell. It's a liquidity grab. And I was right to call it a bear trap, right? And I believe that this is also a potential bear trap here right now. They're trying to get you to sell. They're trying to make you think it's over, and they're going to push it back up. And that level around 127K is an extremely critical level. I'm not going to get into all the reasons why on this live stream. We discussed it. You know, we discussed it to a crazy level on the call yesterday in the Discord. We looked at numerous things pointing to that level, but I believe we're heading up personally. So that's my take currently on the market, and I believe the altcoins are ready to absolutely explode. All the signs of that, right? Everything's just on the doorstep. It's just waiting. It's extremely close. And people have been asking me, like, what's the best degen buy in the market right now? Because a lot of you guys missed Troll, which I called at 0.012. It pumped, I think, 4x, 3 or 4x from my cheapest buy alert, which is incredible just in a few days. Another win to add to the list. Just in the last few weeks, we've got a tremendous amount of victories. And we're just outperforming the market and everyone else by many orders of magnitude. I said on the last stream, it's like men versus boys. The level to which you're outperforming the market is asinine. I mean, you can't even believe it. It's hard to believe sometimes. But yeah, Troll absolutely exploded yesterday, and I actually took out my initial, sent out that alert to the VIPs at the top. At the top, I took out my initial. You guys know, if you've been following the channel for a while, with meme coins, I like to take out my initial usually somewhere around a 2 to a 4x. I like to take out my initial. That way, I can claim victory. If you pull your initial out at a 2 to a 4x, you can you can claim victory because you've won. Right. And it's always a good feeling knowing that you've won because you can't lose. Once your initial's out, you can't lose the trade. It's impossible to lose a trade when your initial's out. It doesn't mean you're bearish on the coin. It just means you don't want to lose. You took out your initial because we know meme coins are risky and we have to play them very pragmatically and not just go all in and think everything's just going to go up only. Despite that usually being the case with my buy alerts. So Troll took out the initial, letting the rest ride now. Very bullish on it. It's looking great, and it's an absolutely amazing cultural meme. But there's another meme coin right now that's sitting very cheaply, which I think is going to explode. And that would be Moo the Bull. Now, obviously, don't go allocating huge amounts of your portfolio into these. These are high risk, high reward plays. But it's that time in the market where it's time to go risk on. The time for buying blue chips was during the Liberation Day crash, the April crash. That was the time to be buying blue chips. That's when I was buying Say as low as 15 cents. That's when I was buying Aerodrome in the 30s, right? And that's when I was buying Ondo, I think, in the 50s or the 60s. We got some incredible buys then. And we're going to be forever thankful for the fact that we bought coins during the blood in the streets. Now I'm done with those. Okay, I still love them. I've still got great positions in them, but I'm letting them ride. I'm up on all of them. Every single one of these coins you can see on the screen, I'm up basically 2 to 5x on. All of them. 2 to 5x up on all of these. And that's a great feeling when you know you're up on all your conviction plays by multiple X's. You can just sit back, relax, let them ride, and then you can turn your attention to the fast gains, to the quick money, to the things that I've done extremely well on in the past, which are meme coins and low cap gaming coins and those types of things. And that's where my attention is currently placed. I'm happy with all my conviction plays. I've got the best ones in the entire market. No one else's plays can compete. We outperform the market day in, day out. Every single time I check the top 100, one of these coins is one of the biggest gainers. I think 4 or 5 days in a row, one of my coins was a top gainer. 4 or 5 days in a row out of these coins you can see on the screen. So we've got the winners. Now it's time to turn our attention to those quick movers, those coins where you can 5x in a week, 10x in a week, and play that rotational game, which I play tremendously well, and I've done tremendously well in the past. In 2021, I was playing the rotational game with Floki, Doji Lon Mars. There's a coin called Catgirl. I was telling the VIPs about it in the last call. Catgirl, I bought it at like a 200k market cap or something. Shot up like 100x. So there was a ton of memes that I did tremendously well with last cycle. And then this bull run, We've hit 12x's on Mumu. I got 2x on Harambe, or 3x on Harambe, 2 to 3x on Sigma, Skibbity. And what I did, I just kept flipping that same capital into the next one. So let's say you start off with $1,000. You get a 2x, that's $2,000. You then get a 3x, that's $6,000. You then get another 2x, that's $12,000. You then get another 2x, that's $24,000. You just turn 1K into $24,000 in a few moves on the board. And that's what I did back in early 2025, late 2024. Right, that November to January rally. I was playing that rotational game very well. So that's where my attention is right now. And I think one of the best plays to go for in the meme sector currently would be Mumu the Bull. Extreme risk, don't get me wrong. And I'll get onto a safer play in a moment that's in the meme sector. But just throwing in a small amount of the portfolio into this play right now seems like a great thing to do. I mean, look at how cheap it is right now. 8 million market cap. It's a bull in a bull market. It's on Solana. They've got a bunch of listings. And I was working it out just to all-time highs. This thing's a 30x. Just to the all-time high market cap, you're talking a 30x on your money. So let's say you just put $1,000 in now and you sell at all-time highs. You have $30,000 potentially if that goes to all-time highs again. So it's just one to consider. Now, in terms of a blue chip meme coin play, that term is kind of an oxymoron, right? Doesn't really make sense to have a blue chip meme because no memes are safe. But one that is certainly safer would be Fartcoin. It's got more of a nice chart, more gradual growth, less volatile. Fartcoin to me is a sleeper. Absolutely sleeping right now. And if you look at some of the other legacy memes of this cycle, they've just had big moves. SPX 6900 just had a big move. I think Bonk just had a big move. Fartcoin's one of the ones which is just stalling out a little bit here. It's still waiting. And I think it will have its time. The baton will be passed on to Fartcoin very soon. And Fartcoin's going to rip. It's going to explode. Both of those terms sound extremely funny when you say that in relation to Fartcoin. And that's why it's going to pump so much, because it's just funny. It's just a funny coin. And it's got a 1.3 billion market cap. If there's a meme from this cycle, like a new meme that could potentially go to 20 billion, I think Fartcoin and Pepe would be the contenders, and SPX 6900. So there's like 2 or 3 which can do it. Let's get into the comments, guys. Smash up the likes. Appreciate you all being here. 228 people watching on YouTube, 138 watching on X. Make sure you're hitting the likes across the board. If you're on X, please make sure to repost the live stream. That would help out a ton, and drop a like. And if you're watching it on YouTube, please make sure to leave a like and drop a comment, and maybe share the stream as well with someone who could benefit from this. There's a lot of alpha in these free live streams. There's a lot more alpha in the paid VIP group, but I still give a ton of alpha for free on YouTube because I am a kind individual. Archie the man, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here. VIP here, please check out the RWA coin Bricken. Take a quick look at Bricken. 16 mil market cap. The listings are pretty poor, okay? Mexi and a Bitmart listing, and this thing's been around now for 2 hours. Not 2 hours, 2 years. Okay, it's been around for 2 years, and they've got 2 listings, essentially. So whoever's behind this project needs to pull their finger out. It's an absolute disgrace to only have those 2 listings. I'd be ashamed of myself. If I was one of the guys behind this project, I would be ashamed of myself. I don't get it. Like, why do some projects literally only have Mexi and Bitmart? Two brokey listings, pocket change listings. It's an absolute disgrace. These projects, if they want me to treat them seriously, they need to pull their finger out and get some listings. Like, it could be a good project. They could have good tech, you know, and they might have a good team. Might be in a good narrative, like you said, RWA. But if you're not going to pay for listings, I mean, it's just cheap. If I'm going to buy a business, I want to buy a business that actually spends money. Archie, I just learned how to short in the bear market. It'll be easy money to look for potential rugs. Yeah, shorting's gonna be very profitable. I make money on the way up and I make money on the way down. I'm always making money. It doesn't matter what type of market. I've already made money shorting in the last year. I shorted the Trump coin. I shorted Melania token. I made like 30, 40 grand short in Melania token when that thing launched because it pumped up and then I just freaking shorted it all the way down. Absolute crap coin. I also shorted gold actually. When gold topped out, I opened a short position on gold and made a good amount of money on that as well. So I'm always printing. I'm always looking for opportunities, even outside of crypto. In the commodities market, in the stock market, I'm constantly looking for opportunities. That's what I do. I'm an opportunity merchant. I just look for opportunities in markets and I seize them. Whether it's to the upside or the downside, I don't really care as long as I'm making money. I don't really care if it's to the upside or the downside. As long as there's potential there, right? The sun's shining on me. It's really annoying. Hey, Archie, you're the only YouTuber I see that actually gives great calls, and the coins you call actually pump, unlike these other scam YouTubers out there. Always keep it real, just the way you are. Thank you, man. Yeah, for sure. For sure, bro. Like, most of these YouTubers out there, man, they are useless. They're useless. Now, there's a few which are decent. Like, maybe 3 or 4 YouTubers out there are decent. But the vast majority, honestly, you probably make more money just doing the opposite of what they say, actually. Whatever they say, do the opposite, and you'll probably make money. Putting in the work, Archie. Thanks for another stream. Yeah, no problem. Alt season is near or it's here. You know, it's basically one or the other. I would argue alt season has started. We're just in the very beginning of it. We're in the infancy of it. Dominance has started dropping. Total threes just had a structural breakout. I think the signs are there that this is the alt season run. We're just in the beginning of it, right? We'll be officially, like, unequivocally in alt season once we break the all-time high. It won't even be disputed at that point. But right now, I think we're in the beginning stages of the alt season. Just hit the like. Yep, hit the likes up. Helps out a ton. Helps out with the algorithm of YouTube. You sound like a fool talking about alt season. There is no alt season happening. What are you on about? What are you on about? Absolute clueless person in the stream. Sonnen Brilli. Haven't got a clue, man. Haven't got a clue. Haven't got the foggiest. Sounds like you've been listening to some crap YouTuber out there. I'm experiencing an alt season. I don't know about you. Maybe you're in some crappy coins, but I'm experiencing an alt season right now. I'm making a ton of money. Sui's up a ton. Say's up a ton. We just absolutely printed yesterday on Troll. Absolutely amazing call by me. Look at that. Look at that pump. Wow. Literally like a 3-4x in a couple days for us. So I don't know what coins you're in. Maybe you're in some crap coins. Maybe you're listening to some dumb YouTubers, but I'm experiencing an alt season right now. So I'm going to say that we're in alt season. And I believe we're in the very beginning of it. It's going to get a whole lot better in the coming days and weeks. But I'd recommend educating yourself a little bit more in crypto before you start texting utter nonsense on my live stream. Thomas, how's it going? Hey, Archie, VIP member here. Love all the alpha, and your group is the best. Thank you. What are your thoughts on DJI6930? Got a bit of a stupid name. That's what I think about that. DJI 6930. Yeah, the name for me is a bit stupid. Guys, just give me a sec. I'm going to close the curtain because this light is absolutely blinding me. So I'll be back in 1 second. All right. Let's take a look at this. Chart looks good. No centralized exchange listings at all. Now, it's a relatively new coin, so sometimes I can cut them some slack if they're new. But it's still pretty disappointing. If I was behind this coin, I would have at least 10 exchange listings by now. Oh, it's the Doge one. I remember seeing this actually. It looks all right, but you know me. I'm not gonna buy a coin usually unless it's got the money to get some exchange listings. Man, I love it when people say there's not gonna be an alt season. I absolutely love it because we're just printing nonstop every single day. And when these doubters come in and say there's not gonna be an alt season, it just adds fuel to the fire, you know. It just makes those victories feel even better when people are doubting you. By the way, though, I don't believe alt season this time will be anything like 2021. I want to be clear about that. Those days are over. Those days are long gone. And I've never once said that we're going to have a 2021 or 2017 style alt season. It's going to be much more tamed than those times. Those times you literally just put $1,000 on anything, you 50x your money. It's not going to be like that this time. It's going to be much more difficult. It's going to be harder. You know, you're going to have to research a lot more and your charting has to be on point. There's a lot more competition and there's a lot more saturation. So only very few are going to win. And I know that I am in that category of the few. Yeah, all of my plays have literally pumped crazy in the last few weeks. Yeah, even H-bar did like a 2x from the alert. Virtuals did a 5x. And it's not like it's just some tiny meme, right? Like I've made 2 to 5x's on blue chips as well, which very few people can do. It's our exit liquidity though for the normies to believe the top will be in November. Yeah. I mean, look, I complain because a lot of these YouTubers are feeding their followers bad information. But at the end of the day, we wouldn't have exit liquidity ourselves if there weren't these people out there buying the tops. So I'm just saying I couldn't do it. I couldn't look at the camera and tell you guys something that I don't believe. That's just me. Those are just my principles. I couldn't look at the camera and tell you guys something I don't believe. But these other YouTubers, they can do that. And that's on them, right? I'm not going to do that, but they can look at the camera and say, we're going to pump into 2027. and Bitcoin's going to 500K in the next few months. They can do that. It actually benefits us because we're grounded and we're level-headed, so we can take profits and make a ton of money, right? But I'm just saying I don't have it in me to just straight up lie to the camera. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Metacade is all right. I think we've got the best gaming coins, but Metacade is decent. We just dropped a buy alert actually on a gaming coin in the VIP a few days ago. We dropped a new buy on a low cap gaming coin. I think it's going to do some crazy gains for us once that dominance drops. What do I think about Injective? I like Injective, but I prefer the plays that I'm currently in. You can't hold every coin. Control still do a 5 to 10x? I think so, but I wouldn't be buying it now. I'd wait for my next call. Do I hold Troll on Sol, on my Tangem, or on my Mexi? Yeah, sometimes, I'm going to be honest, guys, like, I hold these tiny meme coins on centralized exchanges. Like, I tell everyone you should hold them on Tangem, and that is the right thing to do. But I like the flexibility of having them on a centralized exchange, especially when I'm only putting in a couple $1,000s, because I'm very maneuverable. I can sell instantly if I need to. I'm not faffing around with some tangent, sending money over and all this nonsense, right? I can literally just instantly liquidate it and sell if I need to. So whilst I recommend holding your long-term positions on Tangem, and you can use my code Archie at checkout if you want a discount on a Tangem, it's linked in the description. I don't recommend, or I'm not personally doing it with the short-term plays. You can do whatever you want. If you want to hold them on Tangem and move them over when you need to sell, that's fine. But with the more short-term plays and the smaller capital holdings, I tend to hold a lot of them on either dexes like or decentralized wallets like Solfla, which isn't a cold storage wallet, it's a hot wallet, or even on like Mexi or KuCoin or stuff like that. So, but that's just me. Bundle member here. How's it going, Joey? Great to see you. And shout out to all the bundle members. The bundle is an absolute insane value proposition. Lifetime mentor tier. I mean, I'm a pretty young guy, so if all goes well, I could still be doing this in decades' time, and you'll still be getting value from your membership. By that point, the bundle is probably going to be like 50 grand if I'm still doing it. The amount of knowledge I'll have, I'll just be I already am an elite level trader, but I will be like literally 1 in a billion. But yeah, I recommend guys jump onto the bundle if you can afford it. If you've got a portfolio above 25K, it's not for everyone. If you've got a smaller portfolio, then I recommend just getting on the VIP, make some gains, then work your way up. But if you are, one of those guys who's aiming for potential millions in the bull run, then the bundle is an absolute no-brainer. Lifetime mentor tier, and you can get on a one-to-one call with myself. You can get on 2 calls with me. 2 calls. And you get access to my crypto course, which took me many, many months to make. And it says 35 videos. I think there's actually over 40 videos in the course. Cryptex also made videos in it on technical analysis. So it's a TA course. It's also a gem hunting course, my actual research methodology. And you gain access to a portfolio management course. So highly recommend that that bundle if it's right for you. Like I said, it's not for everyone. I've actually turned down some members who wanted to opt for the bundle. I turned them down. They said, I've only got a portfolio of 10K. I want to get on the bundle. I said, 10K, just wait until you get to 20 or 30 and then join the bundle. So I've actually turned down some potential sales just because I didn't think it was best suited for the client. So like I said, it's not for everyone. But if you have got a portfolio above, 20 or 30K, then it's a no-brainer. Bon Compengu will do well. I've known you for years, since when you were talking about Viot. Nice, man. Yeah, Viot did like 100x from when I was talking about it on the channel. I got into Viot so early. That was a crazy buy alert. So literally, if you just follow my buy alert on Viot, you would have made 100 times your money. And Dynex is decent, but I already know about it. But thanks for tuning in the stream, and I appreciate you being a long time viewer. Thoughts on Ben Cowan's video? I haven't watched it. Yeah, he was calling for 70% dominance, and then we dropped really hard after that. So I was calling for dominance dropping here because I saw that we came in contact with the 786 fib level at 66%. I told everyone on YouTube I believe dominance is going to have a harsh drop, and it did exactly that. It fell off a cliff. So I haven't watched this video, and I'm probably not going to. NPC's underrated? Yeah, it's good. NPC's a good meme. What are your thoughts on Sui and Sei and Ondo? Yeah, they're all great. They're all going to do great. Mumu is looking interesting as I missed Troll. I was looking at it, but didn't pull the trigger. Yeah, Mumu is a solid gamble play. I told my maths tuition, sir, about you. He has 3K in crypto and will most likely buy VIP. Nice, man. Congrats. Appreciate that. Tell him congrats on joining when he does, because it's a big step in the right direction to get on the VIP. You're giving yourself that competitive advantage. Most of these YouTubers with these outrageous predictions have to be on something. Yeah, I've been worried actually that a few YouTubers seem like they're on drugs. You know, when you look at their mannerisms, when you look at the way they talk, they seem like they're on drugs. Have a guess in the chat which YouTubers I'm talking about. But some YouTubers seem like they are on cocaine, Adderall. They look like they're on drugs. So I'm pretty concerned about that. You can just tell, right? You can tell by their eyes, their mannerisms, the way they talk. They're not in a natural state of being. Very worrying. Birds are hilarious. Enjoy staying poor. Sonen Brilli, you made me laugh so hard. Lex, I said that in March and April we would see a dump, and we did. So I was right about that. There's a massive dump in April. I said it could be the cyclical top, or maybe it's a local top, and I was right about that. So I don't know what you're saying. We literally had a massive dump in not April, in March. Yeah, and a bit April. The thing is as well, right? All of my predictions are subject to change. Like, this market is subject to change every single day. So things are constantly changing in this market. So sometimes, you know, I will alter my predictions. Sometimes things look frothy and then they just collapse, right? Like right now, things are looking like we're getting close, but we could just dump now, and then, you know, my predictions are altered. But that's why I say, you know, you got to take it level by level. I put more emphasis on the actual price levels than I do on the time frames. Price is more important than time for me. But this market's changing every day, so you need to be constantly adjusting with it. And that's why I downgraded some of my targets, because I believe that Q1 would actually be bullish. Q1 was bearish. So because of that, I'll admit that's one area I was wrong this cycle. Out of all the things I've said, okay, I've had a YouTube channel for three years plus, and I've 90% of the things I've said have probably came into fruition. But one of the things I was wrong on, and I will say this, is that Q1 I expected would be bullish, and I think everyone did. I don't know many people who expected a bearish Q1. We just had a new president, Trump, come in, pro Bitcoin, and yet we dumped crazy because of the tariff situation. Very few people saw that coming. And unfortunately, I thought Q1 would be bullish. Now, I did take profits, and I prevented myself on losing a lot of money. I took big profits on Casper. I took big profits on Sui when it was around $5, and I sold all of my meme coins around the top. So I made multiple things. I put multiple things in place to safeguard my portfolio before that happened. The VIPs sold their memes literally right close to the top. Memes absolutely crashed following the sell alerts. And I was selling Sui. You can see my sell alerts. I was selling chunks of Sui when it hit $5. I was selling chunks of Sui when it hit $5. It then crashed all the way down to 1.70. I safeguarded and preserved a ton of my capital by selling at that point. Safeguarded a ton of my capital because I was selling Sui at $5. Same goes for Casper. I was selling Casper at 16 cents, 15 cents. It dumped all the way down to 5. So you can't be right every single time, but man, we have been right a lot on this channel. And the thing that is crazy is if I'm this good of a market predictor at 21 years old, imagine how good I'm going to be in 4 or 5 years time when I'm 25, 26. Like that is crazy. This group's going to be printing for decades. Yeah, Cryptex is a big player in the group. Helps out a ton with the TA. Thanks for all your hard work. Yeah, I think there's still an easy 3 to 5x left in most people's portfolios if you're following the plays that I'm talking about. But I can't guarantee that for some other plays. Crypto Galaxy says you're very bear market levels of bearish on Casper predictions. Yeah, we'll see, bro. We'll see who's right when it's all said and done. I think I'm going to be right. Does he think it's going to $20 in the next few months by November, right? So the 4-year cycle is supposed to end October. How many days until October? So he thinks in the next 65 days it could hit $20. Is that what he thinks? I haven't watched him recently, but last time I listened, I heard that there was a $20 price target. Well, maybe he's revised it. I said, you know, if you got into Casper really early, you're more likely to have these super bullish predictions because you've seen how well it's done. You just think it's going to keep doing that forever. But it's been stagnant now for over a year. It's been stagnant. And it still hasn't broken out of this downtrend. A lot of these predictions people give are based on nothing. They basically just come from thin air. They are based on absolutely nothing. I base my predictions on logic and the charts and the economy. I base it on all these things. Other people just like the sound of a number, and that's their prediction. Should I buy more Say? I wouldn't, but I don't know. I can't tell you what to do. I stacked a lot of Say down at 15 cents, 17 cents, 20 cents. I'm not buying any more now. But if you want to buy some, you can. I don't think most Casper holders on Twitter and YouTube believe their own price targets. It's just a strategy to pump the price. Maybe. That's the problem though, right? That if I genuinely thought Casper was just going to 50 cents and then I told everyone it's going to $20 or $40, I just couldn't do that. I couldn't get myself to do that. I wouldn't be able to. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap up the stream here. Appreciate you all tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, and get on over to the VIP if you want to get my real-time buy and sell alerts, and if you want to join a group which is drastically outperforming the market by orders of magnitude. It's not even funny. It's ridiculous at this point. The degree to which we're outperforming the market is phenomenal. So head on over to the group. It's active all the time. There's voice chats. There's people dropping alpha, finding new gems. Shout out to I'm Crazy. Just joined the VIP. Shout out to you. But I'm going to be increasing the price probably on the next rally because there's been a crazy amount of demand into the group. Because the results speak for themselves, right? Every single review we've got is 5 stars. Very few people ever cancel. It's extremely rare that someone cancels. And people join to pay $145 and they end up making 10, 20K within a week or two of following some of the alerts. So check it out. You can cancel if you want, but like I said, people extremely rarely do that because why would you cancel when you're making a ton of money? It just doesn't make sense. Appreciate you guys watching. Going to be dropping some buy alerts on some memes probably in the coming days. So stay tuned for that.